Hello, this is Jordan, and this is your precious metals video market update. This is being recorded on the morning of Saturday, July 18th, 2020. And thank you so much for joining me today. In this video, I'm going to give a technical update of the metals and the miners. So starting off, we have weekly bar charts of GDX and GDXJ. That's GDX at the top, GDXJ at the bottom. And what we see is that the miners have broken out of these 7-year-long bases. And breakouts like these are very, very bullish. Now, we probably shouldn't expect any big corrections along the way, at least until those measured upside targets are hit, which you can see the blue arrows there. I'm looking for, call it 80 to 85, 83, 82 for GDXJ, and then about 50 for GDX. So I wouldn't expect any big corrections until those targets are hit. Now, GDX in June retested its breakout, so that's confirmed now. GDXJ, it's possible it could retest 48 or 49. It's also possible that might not happen. So we got to understand every possible scenario. So those measured upside targets, I would say, they're probable. When you get this kind of a breakout, those types of targets, they tend to play out. And also, I would say, it's not only possible but probable that these markets are going to run hot until they reach those targets. So, you don't want to chase complete strength, but at the same time, you want to be careful about staying out of the market and waiting for a 20% or 30% correction. It's just not, it's unlikely to happen while the market is trending towards those upside targets. Now, moving on, let's talk about gold and silver. These are the weekly bar charts, gold on top, silver on the bottom. It's pretty simple here. Gold has broken past 1,800, and I do think 1,800 is stronger resistance than 1,900, so that's significant. At the end of June, gold's quarterly close was at an all-time high for quarterly closes. That suggests the market is going to make a new all-time high. So that's significant. Now, the next target is obviously 1,900. And silver, I would say, has a bit more room to run than gold to its next resistance. Silver, you can see there at the bottom, the 1850, 1875 level, that's been significant going back many, many years, not just 5, 6, 7 years, but more than that. So silver finally made it through, I think, on a monthly basis as well as a weekly basis. Now it's closed above it in each of the last 2 weeks, so that's some confirmation there. The next target is basically the 21s, which is the 2016 peak, and also the 2014 peak, which is a little bit higher than the 2016 peak. But to keep it simple, I drew the line there at the same level. So near term, what we're looking at is the potential for gold to hit 1,900, silver to hit 21 before we get some kind of a pullback or a little correction. We'll see. We'll evaluate the market at that point, but these are the targets that we should be focused on now. Now, with respect to being concerned that GDX is too overbought, we can look at some various momentum oscillators and breadth indicators to try and gauge that. And so here we have GDX with the price there at the top, and then the three indicators. We have the new highs, the bullish percentage index, which recently hit 100%, and then at the bottom we have the percentage of Huey stocks, which closed above the 200-day. The Huey is very close to the GDX ETF, so that's why I use that. It doesn't change as often as GDX with respect to the stocks changing in the weightings and so on and so forth. But anyway, we can see bullish percent index hit 100 last week. The percentage of stocks above the 200-day, that's fairly high. That hit, I think, 90% or 89 a week or two ago. It's come down a little bit. You obviously want to weigh all the indicators equally, but what's interesting is I like the new high indicator there, GDX new highs, and smoothing it with a 20-day moving average. And what we can see is that that indicator, the 20-day moving average, that hit about 30 at the 2016 peak and the 2019 peak. Now, that doesn't mean that 30 is going to mark the next peak. It could be 27. It could be 35. We don't know. But given where we are now, we're just below 17 on that indicator. So that indicator still has a ways to go before it gets to where it was at the 2016 and 2019 peaks. So yes, I mean the miners are running very hot here, but we haven't hit a real bullish extreme. And given that we just had this 7-year breakout, the propensity of the market is to run very hot. And so something that's overbought or even very overbought in normal conditions, that might not be overbought enough during this trend. I mean, you have to get real extreme. And so moving on to another thing we can look at, these are just some oscillators here. We're looking at the distance of the market between it and these moving averages. It's the 50-day, 100-day, 200-day. These are exponential moving averages, by the way, which they weight recent days more than the earlier days. And this is GDM, by the way, which is the parent index of GDX. So it's almost the same thing as looking at GDX. I mean, the chart looks exactly similar. Now, these indicators, I mean, I've drawn some horizontal lines to show maybe when they get pretty overbought. And you can see, based on these indicators, that GDM has not reached an overbought extreme yet. So, I mean, we're with respect to that, and then the last slide talking about the new highs, I mean, we're still in good shape with respect to not reaching an overbought extreme yet. So, I mean, that's where we are. The market is looking very bullish. It's had this super bullish breakout. Capital is really flowing into the market. Juniors are outperforming now. And you just have to, if you have too much cash or you need to put cash to work, you just have to pick and choose your spots. And before you go, I do want to give you this teaser. If you want a free report on my top holding, this is a stock with 10-bagger potential. You can hold it over the next 2 to 3 years. I think in 3 years, this could be a 10-bagger from here, maybe even more than that. You can get this free report at thedailygold.com/top-stock-pick. So, if you haven't already got my free reports, check this out. And I think you'll like the report. Let me know what you think. Also, let me know what you think about this video. I read all the comments. And subscribe to this channel. This is a Palisade Radio channel. You can subscribe to my channel too. That's The Daily Gold on YouTube. Thank you for listening and watching this video. I appreciate it. And I look forward to doing another update for you guys in the weeks ahead.